Welcome to People. I'm Shirley Lin. Today I'm really honored to be here at the Guangqi Program Service building itself, where Father Jerry Martinson is the vice president of this program and media service, and so it's really great. And I'm going to call him Uncle Jerry. And Uncle Jerry's been here 48 years from San Diego, California. And let's meet Uncle Jerry right away. Okay, it's really great to meet you.
Thank you, Shirley.
Yes,
good to
I've
meet
heard,
you too.
Thank you. I've heard much about you, but to be able to meet you in person is just awesome. And then learning about how much you've contributed to the media field here in Taiwan, which you never thought you would to start off with when you came here, right? So 48 years ago, you came to Taiwan. Now, why did you come to Taiwan? It's like I've asked so many people in my interview.
Well, that's a good question, and that's usually the first question people ask. I'm a Jesuit. A Jesuit is a Catholic religious order, and I entered very young. I entered when I was 17, and I entered partly because I wanted to go to some other place in the world that was needier than the United States. And when I was thinking of going to Africa, because I really admired people like Albert Schweitzer, who gave up everything and went to Africa and worked with the very poorest people and helped them. So I thought if I could be a doctor and go to Africa, that would make me feel like I was doing something worthwhile for the world.
So you studied medicine?
No, I didn't. I studied to be a priest. But I knew that the Jesuit order sent maybe 1/6 of their people to different countries. So I thought, well, there's a chance that they might send me to Africa, train me to be a doctor, send me to Africa. But it wasn't long before I realized I didn't really have the talent to be a doctor or the calling.
Why is that?
I don't know. I guess I thought maybe a teacher would be more suitable. And then when I was studying, and we studied in California, where I entered near San Jose, a place called Los Gatos. After 4 years there, I went to Spokane, Washington, to study philosophy at Gonzaga University, and we got a lot of letters back from we called them scholastics. They were people in training to be priests.
Okay.
Jesuit priests that had come to Taiwan, and they wrote back and they sent described their experiences and sent their pictures and everything, and gradually I became interested in Taiwan. The pictures of the people, it looked like the people were very shanliang, very good-hearted and nice, and then they spoke the same language that they speak in mainland China, which is Mandarin. So I thought, well, maybe in the future there's a chance we could also go to mainland China and do something.
But you hadn't known the language then?
No, I didn't know the language at all then, not until I got to Taiwan.
Right, but you didn't even know about Taiwan before that too, right? Before you came to Taiwan. Did you know about the island?
Well, I did. I read, from my classmates, the ones that had already come here, and then I also spent a summer going at Washington University of Washington in Seattle, reading about China and Taiwan and Asia to prepare myself. Yeah.
Oh, all right. So you came, and actually it was around the 60s, right? Late 60s when you arrived.
That was in 1967, yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's a long, long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Considering how much Taiwan has changed over these 40 years.
Yeah.
I heard your other interview that you were saying that there were kids that you saw on the streets walking to school with their shoes in their hands.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Now, why were they doing that? Because they want to protect their shoes so they don't...
Exactly. They didn't want to wear out their shoes, so they carried them. They went barefoot to school, and they wore their shoes at school, and then they took them off and carried them back home. So their shoes lasted longer, and they could pass them on to the next child.
Oh, is that right? So they were working on dirt roads, not concrete roads back then. Yes?
Both.
No? Both.
There were also ordinary...
I've never heard of kids who would do that, but I guess that's an indication of...
I think in areas that are poor, I think that's probably quite common. I would do the same. And their feet were quite tough. A lot of them came from the countryside, and they spent they were going barefoot since they were kids.
What other scenes that we'll never see nowadays? I mean, back in the 60s when you first arrived, what things could you remember that you know we've never seen in
Well,
Taiwan?
I don't know. I remember the one thing that gave me kind of an inferiority complex talking about children.
Really?
Was the kids here. When I came, I didn't speak any Mandarin at all. I started my first day of school learning my first word in Mandarin, except for my name. They did teach me how to say my name. But the kids on the street would sometimes wave to me, and they'd say, "Oh, hello, how are you? I love you."
In English?
In English, yeah. They knew those few words, and then they would speak Taiwanese and Mandarin and or maybe Hakka. And I thought, my goodness, I'm 24 years old. I don't know. I only know English. I can only speak one language. And then these kids are speaking, at least different phrases in different languages. I thought, will I ever reach that stage?
And now you have.
Well, my Taiwanese is still not very good, but I can understand some and speak a little bit. And there was a time when I really fell in love with Taiwanese pop songs and folk songs.
Really?
So I maybe that was one of the things that kind of got me aimed at Guangqi program service or to the media world, because I loved playing the guitar and I loved singing Taiwanese songs. Those Taiwanese songs have kind of a nasal tone, and they were kind of sad but not really depressed, and some of them were really interesting. One of my favorites was this one about the 修巴掌修巴掌不修巴掌 selling these dumplings, the
rice
meat dumplings. And I just thought that was the greatest song, because it seemed to represent the Taiwanese spirit. Nothing could beat them down, and they won't be defeated by anything if they can't get a job, or even if they have a degree from school. They'll always find something to survive. And I think of that even now when I go out for a walk in the morning. I'll see the people in the park. There's one man, Mr. Ma. He's born the same year I was, in the Sun Yat-sen Park, and he cleans the grounds.
Okay.
And he speaks very good English.
Really?
Yeah, but apparently the only way he can survive now is to work as a And I just admire that so much. I admire that spirit. He's got a big smile, and I say, Mr. Ma, every time I say hello to you and you smile, it just makes my day. I wanted to be of some service to Taiwan, and I thought, my God, they're so smart and so diligent, and they work so hard, and they're so resourceful. I said, I can learn from them. I don't think they can learn anything from me.
Oh, you're too humble.
So I begin to feel a little bit, maybe I should have gone to Africa.
Now, talking about you learning the guitar, in fact, you learned how to play the guitar and sing on the boat coming to Taiwan. And that turned out to be very, very useful. And now there was one time when one of the TV stations asked you, or was it a restaurant, that asked you to perform, and you really struggled thinking that was the right thing to do. And then you realized that there was somebody kind of hidden in the corner, and you assumed it was somebody from the Jesuit, how should I put it?
I was afraid it was another priest from our provincial's residence. Yeah, it was.
And so you decided to sing something more gospel kind of songs for a change.